Welcome back, David. Once again, the exploration continues.
Hi, Raphael. It's been an interesting week that we're seeing many things happen all over the world. Yes,
Definitely.
you, to do with the Middle East and things like this. So once again, let's have a look at the Middle East and Europe, and let's see what this game is. Yes. So the first thing I will send you as a reminder so that people can see. Yes. Do you have it? Paris
Yes.
was seen as what? What do you call it? At the end of medieval Europe, let's say after the Renaissance, they're going to say medieval Europe, but it's more like the 17th century. It became the New Jerusalem. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
17th, 18th century. Yes. So Paris was once the Jerusalem, just means the city of peace, or Salam, or Salem. Yes, or what we call today Shalom in Hebrew, or Isalam in Islam. Yes. Okay, now um, let's see. Let's go to the Middle East straight from Paris, and we find suspicious things. This is going to go through the history of Zoroastrianism and the forgery of Zoroastrianism. Same like ancient Egypt didn't exist, ancient Zoroastrianism didn't exist, because many people are asking, did the Jewish form of prayer and the Muslim form of prayer and the Christian form of prayer, did it come from Zoroastrianism, or is it all just a scam? Yes, and the elite from India who were involved with the East India Company. Yes, this is very important because the East India Company, um, you know, uh, um, financed the American wars in the United States and other things, and wars in Europe. They're from the other side of the world. Many people are not aware of this. What the hell is going on? Who took over Europe? What is this global world order that we're seeing? Where is India in this? So now there is a book called Kitab al Aqdas, written by Baha'u'llah. Yes, you can see it. The Baha'i religion. You've probably heard of it. Yes,
You had
and
mentioned it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was written in Acre. Now have a look at the second paragraph. And what do you call it? You will see that what do you call it? The question and answers of the Kitab-i Aqdas um, was written by Bahadullah, and it was organized. What we've got is the version today by somebody called Zainul Mukarrabin. Yes. Who was writing down Baha'u'llah's writings, and he was one of how many followers or apostles of
One of
Baha'u'llah.
19.
Yes. And where was it first published, this Baha'u'llah religion book?
Here it says in Bombay, which would be present-day Mumbai, in 1898, 91.
1890. Wait a minute. It's just being printed in Bombay or Mumbai in India. Yes. But what do you call it? It was written in the city of Acre, and Acre is in today called in Israel. Yes. Or some people would like to say the Middle East or Palestine. Yes. Do you know how far that is? To go there to take this document in the 1870s, 1880s to Mumbai. It seemed like saying, I just wrote a book in England. I'm going to get on my horse. I'm going to get then cross on a boat to France, or from France. Then I'm going to go through Germany. There's no electric, no nothing. Cut through Poland, and then cut through Ukraine, through all the headaches and the wars, and then I end up in Moscow, and then my book is going to be published in Moscow. How realistic does that sound?
Definitely strange, yeah.
Oh, but by the way, the handwritten version, where is it? In the last two lines?
It's housed at the British Library. Yeah, it's just like you had mentioned with the different Qurans and so on that they gave out in the Middle East, but were also printed in Europe in that case. But here it's India, which also has a suspicious role, as you pointed out.
When we say India, the printing machines in India, it seems like saying, Nigeria is manufacturing Mercedes-Benz. So the
Right.
printing machines came from Europe. So that means the Europeans printed it. In 1890, you're not going to be able to print something without them. They will only print it if they want to. So it means it's something that they wanted to. So one, it's with the British. Two, it's printed by the British in Bombay, in the other side of the world. In other words, they're targeting that side of the world. But it was written in Acre. Yes, it was written in Acre. I mean, if we stop Afghan refugees who are in Germany and say, how did you get here? There's modern transport, but how the hell did these documents get there? Yes. So it's very suspicious. It's almost like it's a forgery. Now, when we look at Acre, yes, Acre is in Israel. Now they're telling us that the Crusades happened in Acre. Now, what was the population of Acre in the year 1873, Raphael?
Here it says about 5,000.
Of course,
Hmm.
5,000 people. That's, can you count how many people? 5,000? Yes, 5,000. Can you count?
It's not a
That,
lot.
that, yeah, it's nothing. So now we've got a problem. 5,000 people. But then let's have a look at Acre City just a few years later. Yes, what do you call it? In 1870, there's only 5,000 people. Yes. And by 1887, like 15 years later, how many people in Acre?
Here it says
About 10,000.
9,800. Hmm.
Yes. So it's gone up. It's doubled in 15 years. It's almost like there was nobody in Acre like that, what we call the city today, in the year 1800. Let's calculate. It's doubled in 15 years. Yes. So if we look at 1870 again, yeah, there was only 5,000. How many is there going to be in 1800? It means that the city has just been set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was people in the region, but not in that city. Oh, but they're telling us this city is thousands of years old. The Crusades happened and everything. But then let's have a look at statistics. Now, the thing is, how do we know that they're inventing the data? 1922, 50 years later from 1870, how many people are living in Acre?
We have in 1922, it says
6,000.
6,000. Okay. That's
But
even less
other
again.
estimates,
Hmm.
8 or 10,000.
Hmm.
But this can probably be explained. The Ottoman Empire was ruling the region, yes, and when they left, many people left. The British came. Um, um, I'm not going to say British because the British are nice people, but I'm going to have to say, drug dealers and gangsters came with an army with the title British Empire. Just a few people who were, rape, pillaging, looting. So many people left and they went out in the countryside. Others went to Turkey. Same like many people from Palestine, Gaza, and other places when the British came. They went towards Turkey. Yes, that's why Turkey has a big relationship with the entire region. Yes, other people just went to uh, other districts. So now, what do you call it? The British, what do you call it? Yes, did a census in 1931. Yes, this is what they claim. There is no evidence that it was accurate or correct. They said that there's 8,000 people there in 1922. I mean, yes, yes. So as you can see, so there is something wrong with the entire history that we're being told about Acre. And you must have heard of the siege of Acre during the Crusades. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, but Melly heard.
Yes. So the thing is, what do you call it? The siege of Acre. They're telling us happened what in 800 years ago. How many people do you think lived there 800 years ago? If there's hardly anybody there,
Well, if we would
in
only
1800.
calculate it back, then there shouldn't be anyone at that point. Probably half an
Yes,
individual or something if we
but that
calculate it.
means they're lying. So that means they're lying. And then there's another thing. They gave it the name Acre. The Western Europeans, yes. The thing is, or the local people don't call it Acre at all. Yes. They call it something else. I think they call it they call it akka. Akka. Yes, and even in Hebrew now they call it Akko because they got used to the local residents saying it, but it doesn't sound like Acre. So the siege of Acre, yes, sounds more like the siege of Cairo. Yes, the
Hmm.
siege of Cairo. Yes. When I said that the Crusaders went from Europe and they were fighting Cairo, which was Babylon, Kura, or the cross, or Cairo. Yes, Cairo
Hmm.
is where the cross or Christianity came from. That even when we have a look at even in the 1940s, yes, and 1950s, that Acre was still a village. Yes, unfortunately, in 1948, bad things happened between Israel and the Palestinians, and many people fled. Yes, the modern Jewish people have got nothing to do with it. Those people are, most of them are dead who did the atrocities, rape, pillage, torture, murder, expelling people, in the name of the Jewish people. Yes, so bad things did happen, and many people did become refugees. Yes, of course, that history, the thing is, not many people are talking about it, because it's a sad story. But when we look at Acre, that we can see that even anybody who has a look at pictures, they can see many of the buildings. Here is a photo from the year 1900. Many of the buildings actually look new. They're not old. The Ottoman, it looks like, built the city after the 1700s. Yes, there was probably a small, very small settlement, a few hundred people there, but we can't see anything much more there. Yeah, I've sent links, but because there's some awkward people who behave like dogs, saying, this says this or that says that, or something. Yes, it's because people are supposed to open the links. So here, I had one ready. It's because I normally open these links and have a look. So, what do you call it? Yes, there was small walls in 1922. They said that there was only about 6,400, but other estimates say that there was up to about 10,000 people within the walls. It's because the Muslims don't show their women, their daughters, and things like this. Yes, and in them days, a census was unlike today, where you count the people. It was, it's like the British with a gun, knocking on. And if there's a good-looking girl, maybe they'll rape her or something. If they find gold there or jewelry on the woman, they're going to steal it. These people went there to steal things. No, things like that. Yeah, so it was a different time. Not only the British, the French did it, the Germans did it, the Italians did it. But now let's have a look at Baha'u'llah's books and the Bab. There is another guy called the Bab. Yeah, they wrote their books in what language?
In Arabic.
Wait a minute. They wrote it in Arabic in the 1870s, but their language was in Arabic. We've been through this
Hmm.
before, that Arabic came from Europe. So how could they have written these books if they're Middle Eastern people? Yes. And the thing is, it's not their native language. Did they actually write these books? Now let's have a look at pictures of Baha'u'llah. Yes. Now the thing is, it's strange. Yes. So this is another thing that's strange. Yes. Did they actually write these books? Somebody else wrote them down, and then they're in Arabic but printed in India. But wait a minute, they told us the Indians didn't speak Arabic at that time, and they're speaking some form of Farsi. Or did the people in India actually speak Arabic 200
Hmm.
years ago? Do you see? Are you beginning to see now? The last global civilization. It's like we're totally being lied to about total history, but when people use their brain, it's not difficult to figure out. Now, who was Baha'u'llah? Yeah, let me send it so that people can see it. Yes, Baha'u'llah was the founder of the main founder of the Baha'i faith. Now, the reason why this is important is because we'll have a look at the Christian system of prayer and Zoroastrianism and how they forged everything. Yes, so Acre, yes, somebody will have to have a think. Yes, how the hell did they get from Acre to Bombay? It's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's totally ridiculous that at that time, without British transportation, and did they actually write the books, or did some people amongst the British write the books? Yes. Now here is a map that I'm sending you of the Middle East. Yes, and you can see that Lebanon is marked on the map in Israel. Acre is basically, between Lebanon and Israel, and then where we have the compass showing north, south, east, and west, right on the other side is Bombay. Yes, and
Hmm.
how the hell did they get down there? Let me just show a world map for somebody to figure it out. How the hell they got there? It seemed like saying you're going to go from Spain to Iran just to publish your book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, by the way, you're coming from you're coming writing in Arabic, but they don't read Arabic over there in India. Yes, or did they read Arabic? Yes. Do you see? Yes, because they've made language changes. So let me send you the map. I sent one, but it wasn't clear. So now I've just done a screenshot and sent it. Yes, it's on the other side that where it says 20 degrees north, Arabian Sea, India, you go south from there and you get to Mumbai or Bombay. From there, calculate how the hell you're going to go through the deserts and the mountains. Now, on the other side, let's say it's a similar thing to say you're going from Spain to, to Syria or to Iran on the border. Does that sound realistic to you?
Well, I guess it is possible, but still it would be very strange. Why print an Arabic book in India of all places, you know? So it's still a flimsy story, you know? So
Let's just have a look at how flimsy this story is. Yes. What do you call it? Yes. It's so flimsy that it's a joke. That when we look at how people were living 100 years ago in the deserts in that region, you're crossing through the deserts. We're not crossing through, big city areas and anything. It's like you're crossing through trash. And what the people look like in those days, the type of people, having a shower once a year or something. There's no water, dirty, smelly, everything, refugees coming from Europe because there's wars in Europe, people retreating from the Balkans. This is the kind of rucksack, and you're taking, what do you call it, somebody else's documents and somebody else's religious documents and saying it's from God from there. Now, oh, you think it's normal that it came from Acre? Now let's go more. What is even worse, yes, is that we can find out what type of Arabic this is. Yes, because they're just inventing the history that we can see that when you read this and check the other history, Baha'u'llah wrote many books and he was revealing tablets of God and prayers. Only a fraction have been translated to English. 2/3 of the texts are in Arabic and 1/3 in Persian. But the Persian at that time had 80-90% Arabic
mhm.
words anyway. Yes, or they're a combination of both languages.
Which means it can be anything. I mean, which
But
probably
by the
means
way,
it's Arabic. Yeah. Hmm.
but by the way, the people in the Middle East couldn't even speak Arabic at that time. They're learning it in European schools or schools that Europeans opened up. And the people in Iran couldn't speak Persian at that time. They learned it in school. Huh? That's another thing. Yes. So now let's have a look. What do you call it? What they don't tell us is that Iran's history is suspicious. They're telling us there was a kingdom there and everything was separate. But mysteriously, what we find in the World War One, yes, what do you call it? Yes, who was fighting in Iran in World War One?
Here it says the Ottoman Empire.
Ottoman Empire. And then the Russians, Baratov and the boys, and the British and everybody else, they're putting some fake government there, Shah, this, that, everything, or the grandfather of the Shah. Yes. So the thing is, and the Ottoman Empire, yes, something is going on because Qum is the city where Ayatollah Khomeini came from. Later on in the video, we will show the numerical forgery in the history of the oil crisis and the fake history of modern Iran. Yes, but Qom is the city where the main city of Shia Islam. Yes, and the Ottoman army is in that city. What are they doing there? Aren't they supposed to be busy fighting in Europe? How can they have so many troops and so many things that they can send their forces to so many people? It means that they've lied about the history of Tehran and Iran and the history of the Ottoman Empire. So it is strange that the Russians are fighting with the Ottoman, whoever they are, in Iran. Yes, and we can see, it's documented that in 1916, Kermanshah in Iran fell to the Russians and they defeated the Ottoman army. Things like this. France, Britain, and Russia had agreements to divide Iran. And the thing is, why were the Turks fighting there, or the Ottoman? Yes, and then it said, what do you call it? Yes, there was pro-German rallies in Tehran at the time. Yes, so the Ottoman Germans. Yes, and where is this so-called Great Persian empires or something that we're talking about? Middle Ages, Safavid empires, and all these things that are fighting with the Turks. We can't seem to find it. In the 19th century, the land seems to be really strange, without power. And what do you call it? The only power we can see is these Ottoman who have Turks and Germans. Yes. So, for example, the stories that were fighting over Tehran, even Ashgabat. Ashgabat is in south of Russia, in Turkmenistan, near Kazakhstan. What do you call it? Yes. They were fighting over there. So, what was the Ottoman Empire? Just been told it was, Turkey and the Balkans and things like this. But is this really true? Yes. Yeah, so then when we have a look, many people studied the Ottoman military, yes, and everybody says it. Anybody who has a look, yes, fighting in Iran, yes, the Ottoman empires, or rather, who was fighting in Persia? Let's have a look. What does it say?
Here it says the Ottoman Empire's, or rather German military strategic goal.
Germans, the Germans. Yes. Well, what do you call it? Yes. So the thing is, the real Ottoman Empire was German. Yes, and then it split somehow. Something happened 200 years ago in the 18th century that many people are trying to figure out, mud floods and other things. And the thing is, you'll have to go through my books or Anatoly Fomenko's books for that information. It's too deep to go over here. And the Crusades, were they really fighting in the Middle East? Yes. Or were they actually fighting in Europe? Was the Ottoman Empire really, an Arab empire and Turkish empire and all these people? Or was it, people fighting in Europe? Yes. Was the Ottoman Empire a European empire with Germans, Austrians, Turks? Was it an international empire? Because we can see they're fighting, on the opposite side. Ashgabat is in Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan is between China and Turkey. That's how far away it is. Yes. So more information about the fake history in Europe are in these books. If anybody wants to go through them, I've done them shorter, a lot shorter than compared to what Anatoly Fomenko has written, but he's done it a lot deeper. So now, going back to Bombay or Mumbai, many people call it today. Yes, what we find is in Mumbai is this Baha'u'llah's book is being published there. Yes, what do you call it? Yes, but it's not even written by Baha'u'llah. They're claiming it's by somebody else's handwriting. Yes, so we don't, and then they're saying it's a copy. Copies are, what does it say in the last sentence?
His copies are highly regarded for their accuracy.
How do they know? The British is in London at that time. Yes, and let's just see. So it's mysteriously come from Acre. Yes, and things like this. And Baha'u'llah wrote it sometime in the 19th century. And mysteriously from Bombay, they're saying, who witnessed this? It seemed like saying, um, these other books and other things. But what is strange is that the Baha'i and the Bab, this religion is related. And what we find is, for example, 1898 is the first presence of this Baha'i religion, yes, in Europe. Yes, we can't seem to find this religion anywhere until it mysteriously comes in Europe. And what do you call it? Yes, it mysteriously turns up in France. Here they are at the Eiffel Tower. Yes, yeah, at the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, so what is going on here? Yes, it's very strange that we have them in France. Yes, and wait, let me just show you. Then there is Abdul Baha. Yes, Abdul Baha at the Eiffel Tower with people from the Middle East there. Yes, who were, they say that their ancestors were Muslim, but now they're mysteriously a new religion and based on Baha'u'llah, and they're in France, the New Jerusalem. Yes, what do you call it? Yes, but and many people have even said that what do you call it? We've even got historical confessions. People admitting it. That the Baha'i religion was a tool for what?
Colonial expansion. Now that's useful.
Yes, great idea. Let's invent religions, a few million followers here and there. Yes. And what type of people were, the type of people who are following or interested in these religions, like Baha'u'llah from Acre, and then the other side of the world, then in London, then in France? What's her name?
Oh, we have the most famous, Madame Blavatsky, Petrovna Blavatsky.
Mademoiselle Blavatsky. Oui. Helena Blavatsky. Yes, it's just a totally suspicious religion. Yes, and then Abdul Baha, who is preaching, yeah, who is the new preacher successor of Baha'u'llah, you could say. Yes, he's from the Middle East. Why isn't he preaching in what do you call it, in Syria somewhere? Yes, where is he preaching?
London, because that's where it's happening. Hmm.
Yes, London and Paris, Theosophical Society. The other photograph shows him in Paris. Yes. Was he preaching there or was he just repeating what he's been told to say? Yes. And then he's just getting on with his job. Yes. And what type of people were these Baha'i followers, the first ones in Europe? Yes. What were they?
They were
Theosophists?
speaking to theosophists, spiritualists, Masons, and other liberal groups. Hmm.
Other crazy groups. Yes, Krishnas and Brahmas and all these things, as you can see. So all these religions, all of them are connected. They're all, like they're all forgeries. Yes. But if anybody reads my books about Tartaria, you will see in the Old World Order, there was the religion of Moses, and then all these things started off for the destruction of the religion of Moses, and prophets came through the religion of Moses. Yes, and what we can see after hearing the teachings of Baha'u'llah, yes, and his claim, a man called Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, yes, in India, yes, what does he find? What does he create?
He made his own claim to prophethood and founded the Ahmadiyya sect. Hmm.
Yeah, yes, Ahmad, Emet in
Hmm.
Hebrew for the truth, or Mat, or Mats, yes, yes, or Mahamad, yes, Muhammad. Yes, so the thing is, as you can see, many of these so-called religions are new. They set up, after the 19th century and developed in the 20th century. Yes, and what do you call it? Yes. Now what we find is that these people, yes, you notice the photograph. Yes, I'll send it again. That you will see that what do you call it? At that time, there wasn't many of these Eastern foreigners in Europe, but these people were brought into Masonry and other things. Yes, spirituality, Blavatskyism, all kinds of things. Give them any name you want. Nationalists, Masons, Enlightenists, Brahmanists, Krishnatists, New Age Christ. Yes, Baha'u'llah or whatever. All these people are there, and they were colonial tools. Yes, they were colonial tools. They went back to their lands. And what do we find about Baha'u'llah? Yes, about his relative. Yes, a relative of Bab. Yes, what does he do?
So he helped establish the world's first Baha'i printing and publishing company in Mumbai, the Naziri
And
Press.
how easy is it going to be when these people are in Paris and London?
Well, for them, it's going to be very easy because they have their connections everywhere, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
and that region was poor like a shithole. Yes, at the time. Even today, that region is a joke. Yes. Do you even need money to set up this printing press?
well, definitely, but
No,
how do you mean?
no, you don't need money if you're going to be one of their stooges. You're
Of
printing what
course,
they
yeah,
say.
of course, yeah, right, of course, getting
Come
financed,
on,
of course.
Raphael. If we're going to be stooges and we're in London and Paris, yes, at that time, when people are dying to get out of their shitholes, yes, and make money and create religions. Religion means members, money, money.
Mm.
Come on, Raphael. You can't. Please, join us. We'll make lots of money together. So, do we need cash to open up our printing press? We're going to open a new religion in the middle of the Islamic world. Come on.
Of course, gonna get funding. Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean. I just thought like the process itself, of course, takes money, but it doesn't have to be paid by those
In those
executing
days,
it because it's
they didn't
funded.
have established paper money. So,
Mm.
what is it? They're
Well, you
just
need
going to be
power,
saying, yes,
or you just need slaves, whatever, it depends. Yeah.
yes. So, as you can see, when you look more at Masonry, yes, at that time, Masonry was not so hidden compared to today. Now they've got many ritual secrets, everything, because they don't want you to know. What they're building is the new world system. Yes. So it's not easy. If anyone thinks it's easy, go and open your printing press. Oh, by the way, go and open it in Uganda. Yes, in a village. Go and open it in Uganda without any cash. Can you do it? No. You see? So these people, they're mysteriously doing all these things. Yes. And it's because the thing is, it was created by the West. Yes. And at the time they opened up the printing press in India, yes, in Mumbai, what do we know about Mumbai's conditions at that time?
Oh, there was a plague.
Plagues and poverty,
Oh,
human
oh.
disease, starvation. Yeah, it's like, help, help. These guys, they got cash. They got machinery from Europe. Yes. It's a yes. And when we look at what type of plagues are going
Why,
on,
David, why produce food when you can print a new Bible, you know?
yes. So this is the state of India at the time. Yes, and they're setting up new religions, Ahmed or whatever it is. Yes, and the thing is, the Baha'i faith, it's similar to Masonry, similar to Christianity, similar to things that are in the Kabbalah and in the Zohar. Yes, yes, where they say that God is within the universe, or God, manifests Himself, or what do you call it? Yes, that they say God is the third part of the Holy Spirit, and things like this. You see, so it's not much different from the Bible, that where it turns around and says God became man. You see,
Hmm.
yes. Oh, they're claiming that Muhammad is a prophet of their religion and Jesus Christ is from their religion too. Yes, but there is no evidence of this whatsoever. It's just a historical claim. Yes, and so what they do. So now let's talk about Baha'u'llah's so-called revelations from God. Yes, they were revealed in Arabic. Yes, and Baha'u'llah is the manifestation of God. Of course, you're going to use the word like manifestation, like transfiguration of Christ, because do you know why? You can't explain it. You see?
Hmm.
Yes. Can you explain the transfiguration?
Not me,
Oh,
no.
my dear sir. Of course you can't. Oh, my dear sir. It is same like if anybody's seen Blackadder from the 90s, then, Blackadder himself, he says, contrafibulations. Do you know what is contrafibulations?
A fancy term for sure.
It's not even a term, it's an invented word from a comedy. Yes, so that's what they've done. They've created words that they know that people can't describe. You see?
Right.
And then in the other words, it becomes sacred. Yes, like who is Jesus Christ? Oh, he's God. No, he's the Son of God too, my dear. Oh, he's a ghost as well. But he's not a normal ghost, he's a holy ghost.
Right.
You see? So the more one looks at this, the more somebody will see it's suspicious. Now, so now these people, the books were written in Acre, but now let's see what you call it. Abdul Baha is born in Tehran, in Iran. He is the eldest son of Baha'u'llah. Yes, he's born on the same day when the Bab declared his mission to mankind. But what's going on? His, his dad is in Acre in one side of the world. He's in Iran. The distance between there is like today, like saying from Paris to Warsaw, or even more. Yes, when there's no roads, no nothing, so it just doesn't make sense. And then a village that's in the middle of nowhere, they're saying he was exiled there by the Turks, and he's there. He wrote all these books. Then they got to India. Yes. So now let's see how the Baha'i religion spread. They've got cash for printing machines, but these guys are supposed to be poor in poor regions. And what do we find? Yes. What do we find? In the early 20th century, Iranian Baha'i, what were they?
They were at the forefront of efforts to promote modern schooling for girls in Iran. Hmm.
For women. Yes. So what do you call it? Let's have a look at most people at that time lived in villages. Yes. And what do you call it? Iran was going through a famine and things like this at the time, when they were opening the schools. And what do you call it? The people lived in the countryside. Here is a state of what the people, women were like in the village. Do these people know what day it is? They don't read or write. I'm saying compared to the education, to what they were going to be given about this Baha'i religion. Same
Right.
like the open Christian schools, the Islamic Hadith schools, the Arabic schools, the French schools, German schools, and all these Christian schools throughout Europe teaching that Christianity was the history of Europe. So they're teaching them the Baha'i religion. Yes. Yes. So now Raphael, would you like to open a school
Sure.
in Iran today? It's cheaper than opening up in Europe. Can you afford it?
Well, the one question is affording it, the other question is having the authority to do it.
Do you know how expensive it is to open a school? In them days, people are living in the villages in mud huts and in tents in that region. And then you're opening the school, and so many of these children, you got to feed them, you got to clothe them, you got to teach them, you got to do everything. How are you going to train the teachers when the teachers aren't even educated? Are you beginning to see what's going on?
Yes, well, here I can only assume you get most likely
It's a colonial tool.
get some French and British guys to teach them first, right? Teach the teachers.
Yes, yes. And the Baha'i numbers and the resources, yes, that what do you call it? Yes, by the 1930s, afterwards, we can see by the 1930s, 4% of all females in Iran were in Baha'i schools. Yes, what do you call it? And then when we go to the next paragraph, modern schools for girls were introduced in Iran by who? The second paragraph.
Yes, by Christian missionaries. Hmm.
Same like they did all over the world. That's why we've got Christians in Iran called Armenian Christians. They opened up Jewish schools too. They opened up Zoroastrian schools. They opened up Baha'i schools. They opened up they they even opened up, many private schools were opened for who? The fifth line in the second paragraph.
Many private schools were opened for Muslim girls in Tehran.
Yes. So these people, it's because, there was, it wasn't a modern world. The people didn't know what their children were being taught. So they started teaching these people's children, new religions like they did in Europe. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you see what's going on?
Right, yeah.
Yes. So the people there, they were just simple Muslims. Yes. Same like today, we've got people going there to give charity in Africa. Yes. And they're opening up schools in Africa. Yes. Muslims are doing this. Christians are doing this. Even Jewish organizations are doing it. So what they're doing is that they know that these people don't know anything. Yes. And the thing is, I'm not saying it in a bad way. The reality is they don't know anything about these fake religions or fake anything. And people from our side of the world are going there because in 100 years' time, these people are going to be part of the religion. They're going to be part of the system. And everything else. And when they work, yes, you are going to make money from it. Yes, here is an example of what's going on in the countryside in Africa. Muslims are doing it, Jews are doing it, Christians are doing it. And what you will see, they'll turn around and say, these are charity groups and organizations. So somebody will say, a Muslim came, or a Christian came, or a Jew came. And the thing is, the people will say, that's so nice. That's so nice. They come to Africa, man. They help us, man. They give us a food. They put a water machine. They're very kind people. Yes. But many people have an agenda. Okay, many people are doing it with a kind heart. Yes, but somewhere along the line, other people who are involved have an agenda. Yes, there's nice
I mean,
people.
it is well known how globally synchronized the education system is. So even only if they were to say, "Oh, we're teaching you according to the European standard," you can't be I mean, yeah, yeah. I won't comment about
Yeah,
this further.
yes.
So
So that's these are the kind of things they've been doing. So now let's have a look at India. The Baha'i are opening up schools in India and in Iran, and this is what they are today. Can you see? They're modern schools today because those people they taught 100 years ago, here is their great grandchildren. And these private schools, you've got to pay. Yes, they're making a lot of money. This is an expensive school in India. India is in the third world, like China. Yes, it's like Brazil. So look at this. They're making a lot of money. Yes, and this is one of the world's largest schools. You see? So the thing is, people are paying to go to these schools. It's a business. Yes, they're doing a service to society. Yes, educating people, but it's still a business. You see?
it's a business
Yes.
and a
Now
control
the thing
scheme,
is,
of course, obviously. Yeah.
yes. So, so what do you call now? What the Iranians were just the same like any other place in the Islamic world. The people just learned simple Islam. Yes. What we call the Essene way or the Sunni way. I went through that in other videos, and they were just followers, uh, simple followers of the original Essene or Sunni way. And the Sunnah in the German language, or the way of light, the Sunnah in Germanic languages, was there even before Jesus Christ, even before the Prophet Muhammad. Yes, and that system has died in Europe. It's still there in the Middle East. Yes, of course, there's new books and modifications, all these things that they opened. Um, the Western colonialists, were spreading modern Islamic books and everything. So they've infected the region. But the original Sunnah, Germanic Sunnah, or the way of light, still exists, the way of God. Yes. And what do we see here? Yes, have a look at this. Here is an example of what do you call it? Yes, continuing for that school in India. This school was founded in 1986 by an institute inspired by the Baha'i teachings. And what have they done? They've uplifted the life of who? Who have they
Of
helped?
thousands of, this is always the term, tribal girls.
That's true, but it's true.
Hmm.
So it means these people were originally not Baha'i.
Yeah.
I will show you why. It's because I went out into India in the tribal villages, people without shoes or
Yeah,
anything,
but it's just
and many
great.
of
Get
these
a free
people.
education, and I get the religion brainwash at the same time. What a good deal. Oh my God. Hmm.
That's how modern Islam, modern Christianity, modern Judaism, and modern Bahá'ísm and all these other religions spread in places like India, China, and Africa. It's because many of these people were living in such conditions. Like what will happen is, let's say right now, you and me, Raphael, yeah, we're going over, and there's a 15-year-old girl. We're offering her 5 years of free education, and she's going to get a job, and we're going to be teaching her, let's say, a new religion. What should we call it? We'll find a name for our new religion. Yes, we'll find something. Yes, and we'll find a new prophets or new sons of God or new Krishnas. Yes, and things like this. 15-year-old girl, and then when she gets a job, yes, even as a simple, even in a shop, because she's living in the village in the middle of nowhere. So when these people get jobs, let me just show you how they're actually living. They're living in appalling conditions that they didn't even have clothes 100 years ago. Many of these people. Yes, unfortunately, it's actually a very sad state. So we've got people going to these places and they're taking their children, offering it free because, of course, you're going to say, yes, I'll let you take my children to the schools because, my children need an education, and you're providing free clothes. You understand? Free food also.
Right.
Yes, many things if the children are younger. So the thing is, people are so happy. But the reality is, unfortunately, a large percentage of the world is actually living in these conditions. It's sad. And the thing is, that's how many of these religions spread. That they don't need to force it in that side of the world. In Europe, they had to force it because Europe is the heart where Islam and Christianity and all these religions came from. You see? So these people, it's easy because you're just taking them from the village. Yes, tribal girls. You see, you're just picking them up and you're teaching them a religion, Hinduism, Christianityism, Islamism. Yes, all these modern religions, and these people don't know anything. You see, that's a crime. That's criminal what these people have done. Yes, you're giving an education, but you're indoctrinating them at the same time. It's well
Oh,
known.
just one
Yeah, the
question, David.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
How is it? How is this what they're doing there different from what they're doing in the education system in the Western world? Just asking.
Same thing. Same thing. They're brainwashing people. Everybody knows this. But I'm saying the religious part is worse because it's nationalism as well. Yes, they're both because it's creating
Right.
hatred, conflicts. We saw the amount of hatred in these free Gaza protests or something. Yes, there is a problem in Gaza, but many people have turned into nationalists. And of course, I stand with Israel, nationalism. Yes, nationalism creates hatred. Why can't you support both sides? Why can't you? Aren't babies and children children? Yes. So the thing is, this is a totally criminal. It's evil. What are they doing? It's well known. People who are writing essays for their doctorates. What does it say? Yes, the Baha'i schools pioneered development in two aspects. What were they doing? Taking education to where?
To villages long before there were government schools.
Yeah. So that's what modern modern Christianity and modern Islam did also. You see? Yes. And the thing is, they were doing this even in Europe, that they told people your ancestors were Christians. They separated children from parents, like modern style school for girls were introduced in Iran by who?
Christian
Christian missionaries.
missionaries.
Yeah, 19th century. So that's why we've mysteriously got, Armenians look like Iranians. They look exactly the same, and they look like Turks. Yes, and there's some of them, yes, came from the north, from the Kafkas or Caucasus Mountains. But if you go there, you'll say they look the same. So what's the problem? How can one be Christian, one be Muslim? Before there was Armenians in Baku, Azerbaijan, in Tehran, and in Turkey, but now they had to separate. It's because these people went there. Criminal colonial organizations They opened up these schools in many different places, and then these people mysteriously became Christian or modern Muslim. You see? Yes. And the thing is, they're doing this. Uh, have a look at it. Yes. Many people who read this will think, well, they're helping people charity. My backside. Huh. Yes. What are they planning for their education and temples? Huh. To, to go spread their religion, they'll do it through education in Cambodia, in Kenya. Do you see this? The process has
Hmm.
not finished of what is going on. The new world that they're trying to build is nowhere near finished. Look at this. Yes, the people over there, no matter what they're going to believe, these people brought them shoes, they brought them clothes. Yes, they brought them soap powder, they brought them toothpaste. They're building water wells, they're opening schools.
Yeah, it's
You
always
see,
simple to
they don't.
indoctrinate someone if you first make sure they are living in the worst conditions possible, and then you give them something and you brainwash them at the same
Uh,
time. Of course, it's more
so,
effective.
so you can't brainwash them in Vienna where you are. So what do? You turn it into a shithole by making a war. Yes, that's what they did throughout Europe in the 18th, 19th centuries. Destroyed everything, people were living in the countryside, and then they started helping them, bringing them to cities. That's what they're doing. They're targeting people in the village, destroying the countryside. Corporations will take the land, you see, and eventually, in 100 years' time, people will be in the cities. And then these people will say, our religion's ancient. We've been Christians or Jews or, modern Islam for 1,000 years, 2,000 years. Are you
Yeah, but
challenging it?
they already
We've got
say
the
that
evidence.
now, so.
Yeah, we've got these manuscripts too. These people have never seen the Baha'i manuscripts in their life. They don't even know anything what's going on. You see? Yes. So it's just a big joke. It's actually evil. Shall I be honest with you? They need to get arrested. Yeah, they really they really need to be put into prison. Yes. So now we've got this Mirza guy who's created some new religion, Ahmed. Ah, Ahmed. Remember that guy in India, Ahmed? Yeah, yeah. And they're called Muslims. But let's have a look at this. Yes. What do you call it? Yes. The region where he was in India, there was 137 Christian mission schools operating in India. Yes. 1,800 priests. Yes. Missions that they're from Europe. Yes. 508 Europeans. 2,886 priests. Things like this. It's just a joke. Yes. That the 43 printing presses. This is what the British were doing. India is a big place like Europe. We're talking about Europe here. Yes. So the thing is that what do you call it, and then go towards the bottom. You will see it asks a question. Against this, can you see
Yes, what
that
are
there's
the
all this?
Musalmans doing? Hmm.
What are Musulman is the name of the people in the Holocaust camps. They were known as Musulmans. Yes, yes. So the thing is, what are they doing? Yes, so it means that all of this was done as a war against the Muslims. In other words, the Muslims were doing nothing to challenge all these new religions, but this Mirza and who formed this new sects, new religions, Qadiani, and things, Ahmadiyya movements and things like this. They joined in with these groups saying we're challenging them. You see? So they were like some other new group that formed. Yes. So as you can see, there's something strange. So now, while we're at Iran, let's have a look. Yes, at these so-called, Zoroastrianism. They'll tell us it's one of the oldest in the world. Yes. Now here is an example. They're going to be telling us these are ancient manuscripts. It just looks like Arabic, but they're going to say Sogdian scripts related to Arabic, and it's a Zoroastrian prayer, and they're going to tell us that that's 1,000 years old, 9th century. Let's examine, is it really 1,000 years old, or were they invented 100 years ago? Yes. And the Zoroastrian religion mysteriously spread in the same way like all these other religions. What do we find here? Yes, in the early 20th century by a billionaire called Tata. Now we're going to go through these Asian
Mm.
billionaires. What is this here?